Good morning everyone. Just thought I'd make another video about how I've had to mount my hood. It's somewhat different to normal and I hope I never have to replace it if I've had a crash, because it's going to be a pain in the ass. But if you've watched any of my older videos, I have actually got a 55 to 57 cab on here from when I bought it. It was given to me like that. All the VIN tags, all the numbers, all the pink slips down here all marry up to a 58, which is what the front end is. The cab spacing, chassis dimensions are all 58, so I'm confident I've got a 58 except for the cab, which is a 55 to 57. And if you don't know, there's a few differences. One's the wiper mount and two is the hood hinges. Obviously the 55 to 57 has a slightly wider front bonnet as well because it only has a single headlight. But that aside, we'll just come over here for a sec. When I got my truck, it had a set of 58 hood mounts on it, which had been slotted by somebody quite aggressively, because as I said, we'll just slide that in here for a sec. That is 55 to 57 will mount there, and 58 will mount out here, or 58, 59 will mount out here. So mine needed to mount in here, so someone had just basically modified this rickety old thing, which doesn't really work, and half the time it was out of alignment and slipping on these teeth. So I went and bought myself what I thought to be awesome piece of machinery, and it is. I'll give it that. Some Eddie Motorsport Hood Hinges. They are a fantastic piece of work. Bolted straight up, no issues. Went to go and fit the hood for the first time, and that's when I found out that the inner bracing up in here where the hoods mount for the earlier ones forms like an L, so it comes down and goes across. Whereas with the later ones, it's relatively flat where the hood mounts. Meaning I couldn't bolt my hood up. I did try to contact Eddie Motorsports to say, hey, can you supply me just the top bracket piece here for a 58-59? That way I'd have, the correct bottom end, the correct top end. I've sent them numerous emails and never had a reply. Never got a skerrick out of them. So whilst the product is great, unfortunately your customer service sucks balls. With that out of the way, I set to modifying what I have to make it work, which is typical over here in New Zealand. So I got myself an early model hood, so a 55 to 57 hood, which this isn't, and they obviously start here, come up, flush across the top and down again. Same width at the back, slightly wider at the front. Cut out the support brace for the bonnet part off that, so I unstitched it and basically laid it across here, and everything worked, looked great. Thought, perfect, I don't want to damage my hood too much, so I took my hood and the extra panel into a panel beat a friend of mine who referred me to a friend of a friend, and eventually we found someone that could do the work for me, and it ended up being a bloody big job. Whilst he was able to unstitch the hood quite quickly, that's where it all turned pear-shaped, because this middle section drops down. The cross brace for the later model is also different, so I now have a hybrid cross brace, which gives me a 58-59 centre section out to where these are. I've got a 55 to 57 mount section, and then a hybrid section just in here where the two kind of join, and you can see it kind of tapers upwards ever so slightly. We had to do that to get around the drop or the bulge in the bonnet, or the reverse bulge in the bonnet. But once it was done, painted and back on, it's fixed my issue of the hood sitting proud by about an inch up here. Basically there was a lot of dicking around, and yes, I dropped the hood whilst I was fitting it and scratched the car. That aside, I still need to touch up one up here as well. But anyway, that aside, next time I've got the green paint out, we'll just give that a little touch up. So yeah, that aside, the Eddie Motorsport hinges are a fantastic piece of kit. They were easy to set up, easy to get my alignment sorted. Like I said, customer service leaves a bit to be desired, in my opinion, but maybe I just expect too much. So they fit, it works. The hood doesn't open as high. That's full height on the hood now. With the normal hinges, you'll come up to kind of up here somewhere, so you'll get an extra lot of height. I'm only 5'10", and I'm not careful, I would scon myself on that front lip. So you do lose some height, but for working under, but realistically all you actually need to do is unclip the little split pin in here and take that shock off, and you can actually lift it up quite a bit further. So yeah, one step further done, getting closer and closer to being on the road. Just thought I'd share that experience with you.